What's up, everybody? It's episode 23 of the Game Room Podcast. I'm your host, Rome, alongside my co-host, Dev.
Hey, what's up?
And producer Jeff is on the ones and twos. How you doing tonight, Jeff?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Well, we've got a pretty good show lined up this week. Atari's coming back, apparently. Square Enix is tripling down on the blockchain. I failed to get Amiibo pre-orders in.
Oh, man.
Great week. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff, and we'll end the week, or end the show with some gaming pet peeves in terms of gameplay. Let's get right into number one on the headlines. So last week we were talking about Joseph Staten leaving Xbox. He announced this past week his new gig is with Netflix. He's going to be leading as creative director on a brand new AAA multi-platform game and original IP at Netflix. It seems like Netflix is going to be expanding their video game development capabilities into the AAA sphere. What are your thoughts on this?
I've heard good stuff about the mobile games on Netflix. I've always wanted to try it, I just haven't. Maybe that's something I'll jump in. I heard it's similar to Apple's games where there's no ads. You just play the game as the game is intended, and it's cool, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going into it with a little bit of trepidation. I'm kind of, it's Netflix. I'm not really going to sit here and expect great things from the gaming sphere from them. But I mean, you're going to get Joseph Staten.
Yeah.
Who he, did great work on Halo, so
He has to see some potential in there,
Yeah. But so, I mean, we'll have to keep tabs on what's going on with Netflix right now in the gaming sphere. I think we're seeing a really interesting shift that we're going to see in the next few years, where it's like, well, Amazon's getting into AAA development, Netflix is getting AAA development.
It's also a lot of things are moving into what it looks like streaming games, going the Game Pass route.
Yeah.
So
It's definitely a way of the future, and Game Pass shows that it works. So, all right, number 2 on the headlines. So Nintendo announced. So Nintendo does this weird thing that I've noticed, where nowadays they just love to announce random stuff at 9 p.m. Eastern, and it's such a weird time. Maybe it's like related to like Japan.
it has to be.
It has to be.
Yeah.
But so they announced last week that the Pyra and Mithra Smash Bros. Amiibos will launch as a double pack on July 21st. They will knock a Aegis sword weapon skin that characters can use in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And they also announced that the story DLC comes out actually tomorrow on the 25th, and there will also be 2 additional character amiibos coming for Noah and Mio. Obviously the ones I want are the Pyra and Mithra because I have all the available Smash Brothers amiibos. So like I was talking to the wife the other day. It's like at this point I have to.
Yeah, I mean,
I only need like 3 or 4 more as they come out.
Finish at 90.
Yeah, exactly. But unfortunately, I missed out on the GameStop and Best Buy pre-orders. They were, according to Twitter, they were sold out almost instantly. Just like Nintendo does this weird thing, and like a lot of companies do it, but they really should. I can tell you right now how to deal with scalpers, because a lot of these amiibos showed up on eBay and stuff like that. The way to do it is have a pre-order window, right? Where it's like, hey, we will fulfill all pre-orders placed in this time frame. Give it like, I don't know, a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is, and just say, hey, look, we're gonna guarantee anyone that places an order in this time frame, we will make sure you get one. We may make some additional ones to meet the need later on. But like that's the way they should do it. And I don't understand why these companies still don't get that. I don't know. I'm sure that it has to do with printing, and you have the warehouse you sign up for a set number.
Yeah.
But you could work around that where it's like have a set number, but if you need to go up, go up.
But either way, I think scalpers will find a way to just.
Not if you do it that way. Not if you say like, hey,
they're not going to make.
Listen, it's funny. It's funny that you should mention that, producer Jeff here. So the wife collects Monster High dolls, and Monster High has just started doing a thing where you have to pre-order, and there's a window, and you're told you're getting it in 2024. So,
wow.
Yeah, so they've already started doing that. Like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a thing from going forward.
And does it make it easier for her to collect them? Like she doesn't have to
she went right onto the website and she just ordered it. She didn't have to wake up at, a certain time to scramble onto the website and hope that she was able to order one. But it is pretty crazy that you have to wait a year after ordering it. So
I would rather that.
You need to start.
I would completely rather that. Like if
sounds like you have to start way before they start manufacturing or start manufacturing.
Like now it's a complete hassle. So now I missed out on Best Buy and GameStop. So I need to hope that I can catch the Amazon one, and then like maybe like they'll pop up around the day it comes out. But like it's gonna be a hassle. So I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, I get that.
But hopefully I'll have a positive update on my Amiibo struggle in the near future. All right, let's get into this next one. Dev, this is actually going to have an audio clip that I want you to listen to as well, because it came out last week, and not a lot of people were covering this, but Destin Laguirre over from IGN tweeted out a video of this. Producer Jeff, I would like for you to play this. So basically, this was a senator from Tennessee, representative from Tennessee, asking the head of the FTC why she was siding with Sony and why the FTC is so opposed to the Microsoft deal.
Okay. I say we can all agree that competition law isn't supposed to protect an industry's dominant player.
Correct.
In light of that, I find it curious that the FTC is taking action to protect Sony, which has 68% of the global market for high-end video gaming consoles, from competitive or competition attempted to block Microsoft's proposal or their proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard King. As you know, Sony's been the most vocal opponent of that deal, and remarkably, the FTC has sided with Sony. Can you explain why that seems to be a good idea?
This case also has been voted out and is in administrative proceedings, so I'll let the complaint speak for itself. Mm-hmm. I will say, as a general matter, we always really benefit from hearing market participants across the board, including big players. But at the end of the day, we always make our own independent judgments based on the law and the facts.
Okay. I say we can all agree that competition law isn't supposed to protect an industry's dominant player.
Correct.
In light of that, I find it curious that...
There it is.
Okay, give us 1 second. Dev's listening to the end of it.
Interesting.
All right. So, Dev, you finished listening to it?
Yeah.
So I found this hilarious because this was textbook dodging the question.
I mean, yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, of course.
Well, it's kind of weird that you guys are kind of backing the industry leader here in terms of, being afraid for competition. What do you have to say about that? And she's just like, we'll let it speak for itself. It's just the work that's getting done.
Yeah. It's one of its...
Damn it.
She has to do it if she's fighting for that side.
She's fighting for the Sony paycheck. I get it.
Yeah.
Checks clear every Friday. You've told me, your Sony money.
Yeah.
No, I thought this was a really funny thing I wanted to include on the show tonight. It's not a news update really, but it's funny. It's very funny. Also very interesting how much video games have been crossing over into politics in the past year.
Yeah.
It's like we started this podcast now. It's like, hey, let's talk about Congress people and senators. But next up on the headlines, number 4. So Sega's paying attention. They're watching all these acquisitions. They're watching Xbox. They're watching PlayStation. Sega's like, we don't make console anymore, but we can get in on this. They're purchasing Angry Birds developer Rovio for $775 million.
Yeah, that's surprising. It's very surprising. It is. Yeah, I think so.
Ridiculous. Sega has confirmed to IGN back on April 17th that it is set to purchase the developer for $775 million, following reports of a potential deal earlier in April. Previously reported by Polygon, the Sonic the Hedgehog publisher confirmed the deal on April 17th, and Rovio's board and shareholders have already approved it. The acquisition is expected to go through by the end of September, with Rovio's mobile game expertise intended to help boost Sega's own position in that market. I get it.
I get it. I was just not.
I think it's a lot. I think it's a good chunk of change for a developer / publisher to put out.
Yeah. I was just not expecting that at all. This is not like anything I would have.
Yeah, like has Rovio even made anything in like 10 years? Or are they still coasting on Angry Birds?
I have no idea. I mean, I know Angry Birds.
It was huge.
I mean, I think it still is money wise. Yeah, like Candy Crush.
I know Candy Crush is, but are people really still playing Angry Birds?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't know about that.
And then you got the movies. They already had 2 movies. Like, I don't know. They're pretty big.
I don't know. I'm about to ask a second opinion. Hold on one second. Who just chatted? Read in the chat real quick while I ask a question to someone.
Yeah. The Doge, he played a lot of Sega as a pup, as a wee pup.
As a wee pup.
And they're not exactly acquiring Angry Birds per se. They're acquiring the developer. So,
Yeah.
they're getting the name behind Angry Birds.
But they've only. I mean,
do they own Angry? Like who owns the right to Angry Birds? I thought they were self-published.
Well, Rovio owns it, I think. But they've only put out Angry.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Angry Birds.
So they own the rights to Angry Birds. So I guess they can make some money if it's
Angry Birds 2. They have a game called Bad Piggies, which I haven't heard of, and they have a Star Wars 2 Angry Birds.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm surprised that Sony isn't like, wait a second. A purchase? Not under our watch.
No, Angry Birds that's small.
I just got a response. So I asked the wife who works in the school system if kids still play Angry Birds. She said, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know if kids.
I haven't heard anyone talk about it in school this year. They're still in the Fortnite, though.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Well, yeah, that's definitely. Let me just think. Her. All right. Anyways. Next up, number 5, Tango Gameworks. They are rumored to be working on their next project, which is a JRPG. Devroro, we have an Xbox first-party studio working on a JRPG.
I mean, bring it on. Yeah.
Hi-Fi Rush and the Evil Within studio Tango Gameworks is rumored to be working on said JRPG in the form of a new IP. Information comes from leaker Extra 1S, or Extra Ones, who claims that Tango Gameworks is currently working on a JRPG, which will be a new IP for the studio. If you need a little convincing, though, this info has reportedly come from the same source as the Hideo Kojima Overdose leak, as well as the person who accurately leaked news of the Baten Kaitos remaster. So this person has a track record of correct leaks.
I mean, if this is true, I like that Tango is they're just doing whatever they want. It seems like they went from like the Evil Within to Hi-Fi Rush, and now they're doing the JRPG.
And Shinji Mikami's out, and they're just like, hey, scary games. Let's make colorful, big games.
Yeah, let's just make whatever we want. I think that's cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to touch on this real quick as well, because originally I put it in the news, but then it ended up being kind of a misquote. So then I took it out. But so Jeff Grubb this week, speaking about Hi-Fi Rush.
I know what you're gonna.
Yeah. Somebody had said that had told him that Hi-Fi Rush didn't make enough money.
Yeah.
And so obviously people got into a whole tizzle about that, where they're like, well, what were you expecting from a Game Pass game with zero announcement leading into its release? And so a lot of people were upset. Jeff Grubb said that he was just stating what was said to him, not that it was considered a failure. Aaron Greenberg from Xbox, the VP of Xbox, said that they view the game as a success on every metric that they care about.
That's cool.
So yeah,
I think he also said, which is Microsoft was a little bit disappointed with Xbox.
Yeah.
I think about putting out big first party games, but I think that stuff's gonna come. Even whether it's true or not, I do agree that it's a little slow, but
I mean, at the end of the day, we have already technically begun like this first year for them, where Hi-Fi Rush came out, GoldenEye remaster, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition for the console, and then Minecraft Legends last week.
For me, Minecraft
Redfall
Legends
next week.
Minecraft Legends feels like the first big one.
Yeah, I think
Redfall is going to be another first big one.
And then Starfield, and then Forza is still coming out this year. Which, whether people care about Forza or not, it's still a big first party release.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that it was a little over exaggerated, or at least Jeff Grubb. Even Jeff Grubb, I think, walked it back. He put a video out either today or yesterday that I didn't get to watch yet, where he was just like, "Oh, it was kind of taken out of context, or like what I said was what I was told, but there's more to the story than that."
Okay.
But I also think Microsoft does have a right to be frustrated with Xbox. But I mean, like you said, I mean, we're here. Like, this is it. Like, Minecraft Legends came out, Redfall's coming out, Forza's coming out, and then Starfield will be out.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be good.
And I still want to play Hi-Fi Rush, and I still actually want to play Ghostwire Tokyo.
I know, me too. Octopath, man. This game has obliterated my 2023 right now.
Yeah, that's been what, 2 months?
2 months.
Yeah.
And I'm on the last fight night.
You love the game, right?
I love it.
So,
The
I can't
problem is, I made it to the last fight today, and I made it almost to the end of stage 1 of 2, and then lost. And I was like, oh. The thing about Octopath Traveler 2 is, for me, as much as I love it,
Shit's weak.
the boss fights are so, they take so much time that losing in a boss fight is, like, for me at least, is such a blow. It's like I'll be in like the thick of it, going like 20-25 minutes into this boss fight,
Yeah.
and then you'll just get wiped in one turn by like something you didn't even know was coming, and it's just like, well, there goes 30 minutes of my life that I'm not getting back. But I mean, that's just a difficulty thing. But yeah. Number 6 on the headlines: Spider-Man 2's actor Yuri Lowenthal says that acting for the game is now completed. He was doing an AMA on Reddit, and he was asked if he had finished voice acting for the new game. He said, "Yep, I can't wait for you to play it." So this kind of coincides with, where we're expecting this game to be at. It should be launching in September. We don't have a concrete date yet, but that's the expected date.
Okay.
That's the expected date that we've actually reported on here last month, I think.
I mean, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a big release for them. It's going to be a big game.
I wonder if we'll see Wolverine in there, because we already know they're working on a Wolverine game.
Yeah, they'll probably do an after credit scene.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Cool.
I would expect that. Number 7, Devroro, what would you say if I told you that Atari, yes, that Atari, purchased rights to over 100 PC and console games from the 80s and 90s?
Yeah, I heard about this. I think this is cool. Again, this is one of those things that's up there with Sega buying Rivio. It's like, okay, yeah, buy it, remaster, re-release it, go ahead. We talked about game preservation, and like this is in a way a form of that.
Yeah. So Atari put out the statement this past week. They said one of the world's most iconic consumer brands and interactive entertainment producers announced today, or April 19th, that the acquisition of more than 100 PC and console titles from the 80s and 90s. The collection includes notable games from the Bubsy, Hardball, Demolition Racer series, as well as 1942 Pacific Air War, F-117A, and F-14 Air Combat series. Atari will seek to expand digital and physical distribution of the classic titles, create new games based on the IP, and explore brand and merchandising collaborations. They go on to say this is a deep catalog that includes groundbreaking and award-winning titles from Accolade, Infogrames, okay, and Micropose, said Atari CEO Wade Rosen. Many of these titles are part of Atari history, and fans can look forward to seeing many of these games re-released in physical and digital formats, and in some cases even ported to modern consoles. Atari also acquired the trademark to Accolade and GTI brands. Accolade was a well-respected US-based, I don't know what the fuck's wrong here now, video game developer and publisher from 1984 until 2000. So yeah, I think Atari, they're trying to get back up there.
I don't know if this is gonna do it for them.
I don't know if it's gonna work. When they say like, hey guys, like we have hit brands like Bubsy,
Yeah,
Hardball.
One of my favorite headlines is from Game Radar. They say Atari buys the rights to over 100 retro games, tries to bring back the worst mascot of the 90s. It's Bubsy Bobcat.
Yeah, I knew who Bubsy Bobcat was. I never played Bubsy's games, but yeah, it's like literally the lowest, like out of all the mascots you could like Bubsy. Like
I just think that's funny.
like,
I don't know.
You should try to get Gex at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have to see what happens. I mean, I like the vision.
Yeah,
I don't know if I care about the titles in the vision, but
I agree with that.
I think that they're coming at it from a very smart place. They've picked up a bunch of probably very cheap IP, and they're going to lean on they're going to take a play on Nintendo's book, where they're going to lean on their legacy IP and hopefully try to move into the future with that same IP. So yeah. I like the play. I don't know if I like the players on the team though, but we'll see. Producer Jeff played Atari back when he was in like college. You know what I mean? That's a throwback for him.
I was gonna say, man, don't be talking shit on Pitfall.
There you go. So, well, Activision owns Pitfall, so they're not getting Pitfall. So,
Oh,
yeah, that was an Activision game. I think that was like the first Activision game, actually.
it was the first Atari game.
No, but I'm saying Activision was a publisher. They published it on Atari. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah. Um, next up in the headlines, something that really kind of upset me.
Oh, this is some of the good news. But go ahead.
I'm so upset about. Well, we'll get into it. So Ubisoft has reportedly canceled a Splinter Cell battle royale. It was recently claimed by an alleged playtester that one of Ubisoft's recently canceled projects was a Splinter Cell themed battle royale named Splinter Cell Hunters. In a lengthy post that was published to 4chan, this user revealed a lengthy breakdown of exactly how the game would unfold. It was claimed that Ubisoft was weeks away from announcing the game before the project was ultimately canned, with the user reporting that the latest playtest on the project was in July of 2022. Sadly, what this user claims would have been released with the full game sounds quite intriguing, but it's another game that from Ubisoft that'll never see the light of day. In the words of the claim that surfaced on 4chan before it made its way to Reddit, Splinter Cell Hunters would have been an all-new third-person PvPvE battle royale title, featuring several operators, customizable classes, and a nighttime map set within the confines of a Washington DMZ. Players would spawn in as a duo and attempt to locate and eliminate HVTs scattered around the map, whilst also tussling with other players and AI enemies. It read like Spies vs. Mercs variant, but expanded immeasurably. Once the players eliminated the HVTs, assuming that they survived that long, they'd be prompted to loot caches and then extract from the map, beating 28 other players to the punch. It does seem that this was more of an extraction shooter than a battle royale, but the user was adamant that in their post that it was certainly the latter genre and that the game would be marketed as such. So here's the thing. I love battle royales, but I'm extremely picky about them. And I think that Splinter Cell Spies versus Mercs would have been a really cool concept to impress onto the battle royale formula for a few reasons. One of the biggest ones being that it would have been a fresh take on battle royale.
That's true. That is true. It does feel like it was a trend, though. Like it was a trend they were trying to chase, and they just canceled it. Everyone wants Splinter Cell back. I know, like, and it sucks that, like,
I want Splinter Cell back.
Yeah, it keeps
very badly.
Every time it's not what everyone wants, but like games are getting canceled. So I don't know. Who knows what's?
Well, I think Ubisoft really kind of unnecessarily they took on way too many battle royale projects because mind you, well, battle royale. Well, so look at it this way. So they were working on this game. They had announced a Ghost Recon battle royale last year that they canceled weeks before release due to lack of interest. They had X Defiant, which I think is coming out soon or is out, and then they had that one that they just closed down. I forget what it came out last year. I don't remember what it's called. I think it was called Hyperdrive or something like that. But like that's like 5 battle royales from one publisher, and it's like,
yeah,
that's too much. That's way too much.
It feels like a Ubisoft thing.
Yeah.
Now, to be honest, it sounds a lot like DMZ in Warzone 2.
It does.
And if you look at how bad that's failed, maybe they were like, whoa, 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 whoa. Never mind.
But I would play devil's advocate on that only failed because of the lack of attention and also the Call of Duty fan base not wanting to actually play something new, just wanting to play more Call of Duty.
I'm just putting it out there.
I understand. I'm just putting it right back out there. So can't help the Call of Duty mouth breathers. What do you mean this is a new game mode? I don't want this. Where's domination at? Search and destroy. Tier 1, what about hardcore? It's the same mode. It's the same fucking mode. But, whatever. Next up on the game headlines. What a fall from grace, Call of Duty. That's not even headline number 11. I really can't get over how great that game launched and how fucking terrible it is now. That's like ultimate fumble right there. Can't believe it. Next up,
actually,
go ahead.
While we're talking about cancellations, I just want to throw in real quick the news of Battlefront 3. I'm sure you've heard of it. That is heartbreaking.
Yeah, so the original Battlefront by the pandemic team.
The lead designer of a Naughty Dog said it was legit incredible. That's big. I feel like it's high praise coming from.
I've seen like leaked gameplay that's come out over the years. That game was done, and that really hurts because those Battlefront games back in the day, like some of my favorite games growing up.
I mean, honestly, even the new ones were really good. I know they fumbled Battlefront.
Outside of
but outside of that, it's still like
I agree.
It was a beautiful game. It was like I don't know. It just sucks that like. Yeah.
I agree with that. No, it really sucked when that came out. Yeah, I saw that in the headlines, and I actually I was gonna put it in, but I was like, but no, I mean that was so upsetting for them to say, hey, we were the 98% complete that game. We were yards away from the finish line. It's like, man.
If they didn't do the loot box thing, that game would have sold. It would have been perfect.
You realize that Battlefront 3 they were talking about the original series, right?
I thought it was the
No. They were talking about the original Battlefront games.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still though.
No, yeah, I know.
Okay, I thought it was part of the
no, they were
games.
They were talking about the newer trilogy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, the older trilogy.
Okay.
Trilogy. Sorry.
Still sucks.
It does. It really does. But number 11 on the news headlines this week, Sony. Sony sees everybody else having a good time. Xbox buying Activision while they're challenging it. Sega's buying Rovio. Atari's buying fucking Bubsy. Sony acquired a AAA multiplayer developer, Firewalk Studios, this past week. PlayStation announced that it has acquired them, the studio, and that they are still hard at work on its first original AAA multiplayer game.
I think we have to go back a little bit. Go ahead, continue. I think you skipped number 9.
Yep.
Yeah. 9 and 10. Yeah, you went straight to 11.
Oh, it's because I scrolled down. Oops.
Yeah, that's all right.
My bad. We'll cover this real quick.
But yeah, Firewalk.
Yeah, Firewalk Studios, they announced back in 2021 their first game. They formed a partnership to publish the aforementioned multiplayer game. Building a new studio at scale has been an incredibly exhilarating and relentlessly daunting task. Fortunately, we've been supported by great partners throughout, explained studio head Tony Sue, and game director Ryan Ellis. Probably Monsters helped turbocharge us in setting up the studio, and Sony has been supporting our project and our creative vision from the beginning. And then, yeah, you can see also, if I'm not producer Jeff showing it, PlayStation tweeted it out. Great news, Firewalk Studios is joining the PlayStation Studios family. This is good. This is great for them. This is exactly what I've been talking about. Like, okay, don't rely on Call of Duty.
You're going to hate this, but Sony is working on a lot of live service games.
Yeah.
I think they have 11 in development.
Yeah. I don't agree with it.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out. We'll see what kind of games they are. Hopefully they're not all the same.
Yeah, see, the problem is that the one thing that PlayStation to this point has done obviously better than Xbox is their first party games. Yeah. I think that the first party catalog that they have is phenomenal.
But I think it's because they're a lot of their first party games are single player story driven.
They see what Xbox is putting out. What Xbox is putting out is very strong multiplayer experiences. You look at like Sea of Thieves, where that game is 9-10 seasons still going strong, and like that's people don't talk about that type of stuff when they talk about Xbox first party. They just kind of look at like how's Halo doing, where's Perfect Dark at, Fable, what's going on with that. But it's like in the meantime, they have put out some really good, strong first party support in terms of the multiplayer games. You know, again, like Sea of Thieves, like State of Decay 2, like other things. I mean, these games have been there. But I think Sony is trying to bolster their portfolio, and my only hope is that again, we've talked about it with live service games. I think that there is a good point to having them, but I think often they lose that point and they kind of just end up being bad because of the structure of said games.
No, I agree with that. It's not as easy as people try to copy what Destiny did, and they fail. They fail miserably, and I think it's more than just throwing in numbers and expecting people to pay for it. It has to be a good game underneath it all. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right, let's back up a little bit. Stardew Valley. The number 9 on the headlines. Stardew Valley developer is promising new content in their patch 1.6. Concerned Ape, the developer, has put a hold on their Haunted Chocolatier project in order to get this update out. The game is expecting to receive new content, but the package will be smaller than it was with the previous update. One of the fans had asked Concerned Ape on Twitter about the type of other new content that will be added in the patch, specifically whether the characters will have more dialogue. He confirmed that the update will have some more dialogues and that it is currently being added to the game. So, I mean, Stardew Valley, big hit.
We're gonna have to get Jackie to review it for us when the
when the new content comes out.
Yeah.
The wife loves this game too.
Yeah.
I really want to see this Haunted Chocolatier though, so
Yeah.
I do want to see them get to that. I'm very intrigued by then his next game.
He did say it was a long ways out to not like.
He did.
I think he's working on it. Is he working on it alone?
Yeah, he's a one man team. Conservative is a one man team,
which is awesome.
Yeah, he made Stardew Valley by himself. Eric Barone.
He's rolling in that money.
Oh yeah.
Himself, yeah.
I think we talked about this a few weeks ago, where he's like the first like $1 billion or $1 million game developer because the studio has made that much in revenue, but it's just him.
Yeah,
he's like the most successful one man development team in gaming history.
That's cool.
Yeah. Number 10.
In the chat, someone was just talking about playing the Purpleness was talking about playing it again today.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think the wife's playing it upstairs right now as we speak. All right, Deborah. Well, Square Enix is they're doing their thing again. They're constantly just like, hey, I know you guys really like the NFTs, so we just want to let you know once again we are very committed to NFTs and the blockchain and all of that stuff. Following comes from IGN. While many gaming companies largely got the hint last year that gamers aren't keen on blockchains, NFTs, and all that Web3 entails, Square Enix doesn't seem to absorb the message yet, and it's demonstrating this today, or last week, via a partnership with Web3 gaming platform Elixir, with the intent of generating visibility and adoption of Web3 games among traditional gamers. The official announcement is light on details as to what exactly these two companies will be doing together, calling this a strategic partnership intended to drive mass adoption of Web3 gaming during 2023. Elixir itself is a PC games distribution platform that puts Web3 games and regular games side by side with little to distinguish between them. Notably, earlier this year, Elixir integrated the Epic Games Store to allow users to play any game in their Epic library next to your fave Web3 games. Basically, the idea seems to be that if it stuffs enough non-Web3 games next to Web3 games, players won't be able to tell the difference, and we will get really, really into Web3 gaming. Square Enix is digging in its heels. Given its recent activities, it's unsurprising that Square Enix is digging its heels in on this. At the start of the year, then President Yosuke Matsuda said that the company's vision for 2023 included aggressive investment in blockchain technology and NFTs. While Matsuda himself stepped down last month, his vision appears to have remained intact, as demonstrated by a recent set of Final Fantasy VII NFT trading cards. It's an ironic choice given the themes that play in Final Fantasy VII, but that didn't bother Square Enix last year either, when it made a Cloud Strife action figure available that was also an NFT.
Yeah, I mean, whether or not we want it, whether or not we want it in the gaming sphere, I just don't know if it'll work for Square Enix. I feel like maybe in Final Fantasy 14 or a game like that, but other than that, they don't really have anything that's going to make people. I don't know.
You mean you don't want Final Fantasy VII trading cards?
No, I don't know. No, not at all. But
well, I really love Final Fantasy VII. Do you know if I want these NFT trading cards?
There's going to be people out
no,
there
I
who
don't.
want it. There's
no,
people
I
out
don't.
There who want it. It's funny because there are companies that could do it. I'm not saying they should, but there are companies.
Yeah, let's not say who they are because there are
certain companies that could do it
and they don't.
Yeah,
not yet.
Yeah. Wait till Nintendo gets into the blockchain.
Yeah, you said it. There you go.
I'll tell you who's gonna do it correctly first. It will be Midnight Society. Yeah.
Producer Jeff stands really weirdly sometimes for the weirdest people. Let me tell you. Anyways, they're Square Enix.
They're doing their thing.
Yeah, they're doing their thing.
They're trying to sneak it into us.
Yeah, while they're putting out Final Fantasy games, they're just like, by the way, blockchain.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back up to where we were previously. Number 12, Guerrilla Games are teasing the next adventure for Aloy. in their recent studio statement. We are just a few days away from the Burning Shores DLC. Guerrilla Games last week teased even more adventures with Aloy. This news comes from a statement released by the studio to announce that studio director and executive producer Angie Smets is leaving Guerrilla to serve as the head of development strategy for PlayStation Studios. The move similar to the one the team's former managing director Herman Holst made in 2019, transitioning from the director position to head of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios. They really should shorten that up a little bit. It's a lot. Just say PlayStation Studios. Just you should probably just kind of
Now they use the whole thing.
Within the statement, Guerrilla teases that could be Horizon 3 or at least a third game in Aloy's world, as reported by PlayStation Lifestyle. They go on to say, we have full confidence in our new leadership as they steer Guerrilla towards a bright future, expanding the world of Horizon with Aloy's next adventure and our exciting online project, the statement reads. So, obviously, the Horizon game's really awesome. I still need to get into Forbidden West.
Yeah, I've heard good stuff about Burning Shore already.
I have too. I heard the boss fights are really, really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, kudos. This is great for PlayStation. I mean, Guerrilla Games really clearly are probably their most trusted developer. I mean, obviously Santa Monica's doing great work with God of War and Naughty Dog's all there too. But I mean, in terms of like, they keep taking the head of that studio to help them on the PlayStation side. I think that's noteworthy.
That's cool.
Yeah. And it looks like Horizon's going to keep going, so I'm down for that. All right. Last on the headlines, number 13. Armored Core 6. The release date is rumored for August 25th, 2023. The news came following last week's findings by Gematsu that Armored Core 6 has been rated in Korea. The findings prompted relief for fans who had thought the game could have been delayed until or out of 2023. Although age ratings are not an indication of whether or not a game will be delayed, it has already been highly speculated the game will make an appearance at Summer Games Fest on June 8th. But our sources have, insider gaming sources, have suggested the information was obtained in a way to suggest that an announcement could come soon, although not 100% confirmed. I just think back to the announced trailer for Armored Core 6, and I'm down to play this game. Can't wait. Looks really good. Thoughts on Armored Core for you? Did you play any of them back in the day?
No, I didn't play any core games. So
I used to go over to our friend's house and play. I think it was 2, maybe 3. I don't remember which one exactly. It was on the PS2 though, but it was fun. It's a fun game.
I don't know why I've just been really out of mech style games, but
It's understandable. No, don't let Forrest hear you saying that. He's been in Gundam for the last 2 weeks.
yeah.
Think that's a Schwarbomb?
All right. Well, that's it for the headlines. Let's dive into what is another pretty big week for game releases. Here are the game releases for the week of April 24th, 2023. First up, we have After Image coming out on PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC tomorrow on the 25th. Strayed Light comes out PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on April 25th as well. Desta, The Memories Between, comes out for Switch and PC on the 26th. Bramble, The Mountain King, comes out PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on the 27th. Kazuna AI, Touch the Beat, comes out on PS4, Switch, and PSVR. Not PSVR 2, though. I wonder if there's a distinction there. And PC on April 27th. Lego Brick Tales comes out on iOS and Android on the 27th. Live Alive comes out on PS5, PlayStation 4, and PC on the 27th. This is a strong recommendation. If you do not have a Switch, but you have a PS5, a PS4, or a PC, you should definitely play Live Alive. Just putting that out there. The really, really good game. It was on Switch last year.
You really like those, what do they call them?
With the HD 2D.
Yeah, HD 2D games.
RPGs, yeah, man. That's my jam. Also, Omega Strikers comes out on the Switch on April 27th. The Last Case of Benedict Fox comes out on Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC on the 27th. This is also a Game Pass launch.
Yeah, I remember the trailer for this.
Yeah, they showed that off at their showcase last year. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak comes out on PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, and Xbox One. And then finally, the big release of the week, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, comes out on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC on April 28th.
This gameplay for Star Wars looks incredible.
Yeah.
Bro, I love...
I have to finish the first one. I played about 50% of it, and I have to go back. I'm going to restart, play all of it, and then I want to get this game.
You really do need to finish it, and you need to play it. I love the first one, and I think the second one just looks better. It just looks better in every way. And I'm really excited.
Whoa. Dude, it's like Black Ops 3. He's like skating on the walls. What the?
Well, he's a Jedi. That's what Jedi do. Yeah, no, I'm so stoked for this game. I'm picking this up. Again, April was the month I finally double dipped. Advanced Wars came out, and then this. Got to do it.
Yeah.
Amazon has it come in May 2nd though.
Of course.
But I honestly,
it's one of those.
I haven't finished Octopath yet, so
Yeah,
I might just let it be.
Yeah, that's all right.
Especially because in May I'm picking up Zelda at GameStop already, so it's like, all right, whatever. I'll let this one ship when it ships. But yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to Star Wars, and man, again, like, I think Redfall is going to be great, but man, you're launching days after this game and days before Zelda. Ugh, that's bad. It's not good for them.
It's not good at all.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a rough position for them to be in. But hopefully everything works out for all three, because I think all three games are going to be very, very good.
Yeah, and about these other games that are releasing, Bramble, I've seen some gameplay of Bramble. It looks pretty cool. If you like Little Nightmares, it's kind of like side-scroller horror games. I think it's really cool. And also, we talked about The Last Case of Benedict Fox. Also looks really cool.
Oh.
Producer Jeff's still watching this gameplay.
Yeah.
Dude, that execution was nasty.
It's great, man. Yeah, these games are so good. And you know what? They're EA games. They're single-player games with no microtransactions.
I remember that being.
That's a selling point they put out. Like, hey guys, this is a single-player game, no microtransactions. This is a game that is start to finish, made and completed.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys realize that you're aware of
You're so against that.
You're so against that in every other way.
And now you're just making lots of money off of this. Yeah, I gotta play the first one. I gotta finish it.
Yeah, you definitely do. But all right, well, that is the game releases for the week. Very excited for Star Wars. I've been watching Andor too, so like because I'm trying to get caught up on the Mandalorian. So I totally have the Star Wars bug right now.
Okay.
Like I'm totally.
How you liking Andor?
It's really good.
Okay.
It's so good. Like it's better than I was expecting. I was like, oh, okay, this is just gonna be a cool fun little story, like where they, here's Cassian before Rogue One, and but like it's like legitimately a really good show. Star Wars is like this is just a side thing while producer Jeff is still doing the gameplay. If you were chased away from Star Wars due to the sequel trilogy, I implore you to come back. Like, the stuff that they are putting out is so good right now.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like, all of it. Like, The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Andor, all of it. And then, like, the stuff that they announced at the Star Wars Celebration in Europe, where it's like they finally have, like, a legit timeline now, like, laying out all the eras, where the movies that they're making coming up are coming.
Obi-Wan is pretty good, too.
Obi-Wan is just my favorite thing. I don't even know why I didn't say it out loud. That show is just, like, that made me feel things. Obi-Wan had me in my feelings multiple times. But yeah, it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. If you're out, get back in, because you got games like this coming out. You got shows like Andor and the Mandalorian and Obi-Wan and movies coming out, in the next few years. Like, just get back in. Now's the time to get back. But anyways, yeah, that is the game releases for the week. So on to the topic of the show. So Dev, I figured that we could have a fun little kind of chat here about pet peeves in gaming. Things that, from a gameplay perspective, bother us. Like, and it's not like maybe it's a deal breaker, but just in general, like when it comes up, it just annoys you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if producer Jeff brought any things to the table. Jeff, do you have any gaming pet peeves? I think he's still watching the gameplay.
he's sold. I think let's take turns and go through. You have 5, right?
Yeah, I have 5, and then I have 2 that aren't technically, but I count like.
Okay.
But yeah,
You go first then.
Okay. So number one, and this is something that like I'm dealing with an Octopath Traveler too, and this might be where I came up with the idea for this as a topic. So when I'm playing a game, and that game lets you change your character's aesthetic, like how they look. When those items have stat changers, you know what I mean, like whether it be boosts or whatever.
Yeah.
I hate when a game doesn't make the change of your appearance optional.
Okay.
So I'm playing Octopath Traveler 2 right now, for example.
We talked about this when you played Horizon. I watched you play Horizon.
Yeah.
You specifically chose things that looked better because
Yeah. Because I thought I looked dumb. I was like, I don't want to stare at my character wearing that.
You and Forrest, same way with that. I'm on the other side.
I'm so
Give me the numbers.
So the aesthetics are so important
too.
So here's my thing. So in Octopath Traveler 2, there are classes for each character. And each character is that class, and their design and their character is based off them being that class. Like there's the merchant character, Particio. And so like he's kind of like an old Western merchant, and so he wears like a top hat and has like a yellow jacket that he kind of carries around, like a suit jacket, because he has yellow suit pants on, or whatever. So in Octopath Traveler, in both the first and second games, once you get kind of far in the game, it's called secondary jobs. And basically what it is that you can find these emblems or whatever, I don't say emblems, but these pickups in the world, and you can each pickup represents a class that's already in the game from one of your characters, and you can make another character have two classes. And it's the smart way to play the game, because it gives you stat boosts as well. So if you're like a warrior class and you want to kind of further your strength, maybe you give yourself another class that uses physical weapons and you up your attack more.
That makes sense.
But here's the problem, right? So when you change to when you add a secondary job on, while your character stays the same in like cutscenes, in the combat, they wear basically what the other character from that class wears. So like right now I made my other healer a merchant just so he could use spears.
Mm-hmm.
And like he looks so stupid wearing a hat. My healer, who's the whole game has been wearing he's like a robe and like a staff, and now he's wearing like this freaking half fedora with a yellow, kind of looking like Sherlock Holmes almost, and I'm like, you look stupid. I hate that.
I agree with you on that. I was thinking more on the looter shooter side, where
I mean, even in that regard, it's like
I did.
I don't mind it existing, but give me the toggle. And some games do this.
Yes, games do.
And I those games, those developers, they're the real ones, because if I want my character to look a certain way, I should not be forced to make him look a different way because I want to put on something else. Like that happens in Breath of the Wild too, where it's like when I use the amiibos to get the green tunic for Link, and I want to wear that green tunic, but the green tunic doesn't offer a lot of stat boosts.
Yeah.
I will wear that fucking green tunic. I don't care.
Yeah, not me.
So that's a pet peeve.
I love the outfits in all games. I love the outfits. I love the changing. I would actually I remember playing Assassin's Creed, not Unity, Syndicate, and you could put skins over it. They had specific skins, and then you can buy other things and put underneath it, and it won't change the skin. But I would not use the skin because I want to see the different outfits. I want to see. I spent money on this and time and money on this. I want to see it, even if it looks goofy.
Well, I mean, I want the option. So I want to look at it and oh, I like that. I will put that on. But yeah, that's number one for me. I when I'm playing a game and it forces me to change the aesthetic of how my character looks, especially when it hurts the plot. Because now I have a thief who's wearing a top hat, and it's just kind of wonky, and it takes me out of it a little bit.
As we go through these, I want to see if the other person agrees with. Yeah, because this is one I disagree with.
So, producer Jeff, how do you feel about my pet peeve? Do you think I'm warranted in this? Do you think that it's not that big of a deal? Where are you at?
Yeah, do you
so
prefer?
I just want to be clear. Are you saying if you make a smaller character, you should be more agile and stuff like that?
No, so it's not necessarily size. So let's say it's
you're playing a game, you have a character, right?
And you like the way they look. How they look is really you're digging it. You like the look of it. It's also true to their character.
But now you found a new piece of armor that's technically stronger than the one you're wearing.
Yeah, you should put it on because it's way better in every single way.
But it looks kind of funky.
It looks stupid. You don't like the way it looks, and then it doesn't match with the rest of the outfit. Should games have an option where you can equip the item or equip the armor, but also have it so it's not visible on the character.
Oh, so this is a perfect time for me to bring you into World of Warcraft's transmogrification feature.
Yeah.
So any piece of armor that you have ever owned goes into a log, and when you get a new piece of armor, if you don't like what it looks like, you go to the transmogrifier, and you can change it to any piece of armor that you have ever owned in the game.
Diablo does that too.
There you go. Love it. That's great. That sounds
That's
awesome.
a Blizzard thing.
There you go.
It is a Blizzard thing.
I'm all about it. I fucks with it.
Yeah, it's actually awesome. I thought you were saying when you create your character at the beginning of the game, you would get bonuses on like speed or stuff depending on how big you made your character.
I mean, sometimes that stuff too, but I'm more so talking about strictly the aesthetic of like what they
The
look like,
outfits,
how
yeah.
what they're wearing. That's more so where my pet
Yeah.
peeve comes in.
Yeah, the armor is very important to me on how it looks. That's why transmogrification became a thing. We made a big deal about it.
Cool. So Jeff agrees with me, disagrees.
I don't know if Forrest agrees with you 100%.
All right, there you go.
I'm
Yeah.
on the outside of this.
All right, Dev, what's your first pet peeve in gaming? I'm so intrigued.
My first one is companions. I love companions. I hate when they're done wrong. But this is specifically it seems to me like a Bethesda thing, and it just makes me it's annoying when like a character is in the way and you're trying to shoot something, or you're trying to just get through a door and the character's just right there, and it frustrates me so much.
Right.
Like Lydia in Skyrim is a big one. I kept the dog in Fallout. That was my like main companion.
Yeah, dog meat.
Dog meat is just like, get out the way, dog meat, please. It just gets, sometimes he gets in the way and I can't open a door, or like he'll just do stuff and it makes me so frustrated. And then you have good companions, as in BioShock Infinite, which is I think she's a great Elizabeth. She's a great companion. I love companions in games. I want companions in games.
So your pet peeve is when they're done badly.
Yeah, my pet peeve is when they're done badly, when they're in the way, when.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the Zelda companions? I'm gonna run through them real quick. Navi, how you feel?
It's fine. It's just it's just
okay. And you feel the same about Tattle from Majora's Mask?
Yeah, they're fine.
What about Midna from Twilight Princess?
Fine, they're not. Yes.
Okay. Wind Waker, you still need to play. Skyward Sword, you still need to play. I wonder how you'd feel about Fee, specifically the Wii version. Okay.
Yeah, those companions, those types of companions are good. I love companions. I love pets, especially.
So you have a problem with companions that when the AI is not very good.
Yeah. Another one is Fable 3. You have a dog, and sometimes he gets in the way, and it's just companions in games can be great and frustrating at the same time. I just want the AI to do better.
Okay.
I thought Fallout 3 did it great.
Yeah, Fallout 3 wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but just there are times where like dog meat was in the way.
Because he's a dog.
Yeah,
you can't shoot them.
It's not just dog meat though. Any companion you get, they'll just be like in the way. Like
I guess so. Yeah, no, you are correct.
I just stayed with dog meat. I love dog meat. So.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't disagree with it. I would say it's like a soft agree. Like I don't like when the AI doesn't help very much. Yeah. So okay, I'll give you that one.
Especially when you have combat AIs and they're just like, I need help, guys. I need help.
You just can't blow it up.
Yeah.
Jeff, how do you feel about this?
I don't really have any issues with pets. Now, dog meat, that was from Fallout Vegas, right?
No, it's Fallout 3.
Fallout 3, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember getting him. I just had the big mutant guy with me the entire time because he was like pretty much OP.
He's dog meat pretty early.
Yeah, you get him very early.
I think he's the first one you can come across.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Jeff,
I don't have a problem with them ever. I've never really cared.
Did you bring any pet peeves to the show? Or
I got one. I was hoping you guys would run through yours first. I want to see if you guys touch on it first.
Okay. Yeah. We'll touch base with you later. All right. My number 2. When I'm playing a game and it's an open world game, and when the open world feels unwarranted or feels like too big or empty, this is a Valhalla thing. But it's not just Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's a lot of games.
A lot of Ubisoft, actually.
It's a lot of Ubisoft games.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't have an issue with an open world, but I don't need every game to be open world. I don't want games to be open world for the sake of saying that they're open world. So it's like, if you're going to have a world, you need to make sure it's populated, make sure that it feels alive, that there's things to do in it. And I mean, and so a big pet peeve for me is when I play a game where I'm like, this world is so big, like, you didn't need to make it this big. It's unreasonably big. Or, like, it's so empty. There's nothing to do here. So,
I agree with that one.
Okay.
I think, because I think that's my kind of game. I like open world explorer games. I love exploring in video games. That's like my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate when it's like it becomes, and it just happens a lot in Ubisoft games where it becomes a chore in a way, collecting things from this side of the map, and then yeah.
A lot of times, something that I don't like, especially when it's my first time playing a game. If it's like my second or third, I'm going through an open world, it's whatever. But if it's like my first time playing a game and I'm going through your open world and I have a YouTube video open just to kill the time,
Yeah,
that's a problem.
yeah, I agree with that.
And that happens from time to time with these open world games.
We play open world games very differently. You're kind of like you kind of go to the thing, and I like go around.
Well, I try to go around, but the problem is I go to points of interest.
I'm very anti fast travel in open world games. If I have to fast travel, I think your game is kind of, in my opinion, you fail the open world in a way. If you can't find something on the way from point A to B, Skyrim does a really good job at that. I think Skyrim's a very big game, or at least it was when I was a kid playing it, and it was just like there's always something when you go from point A to B. So I didn't really fast traveling was very minimum for me.
I could agree with that as well. I only use fast travel in a sense to like if I go a certain direction and I want to circle back to go another direction.
No, I'm not saying I don't fast travel. I definitely do.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't do it a lot.
So yeah, kind of like your thing with AI. That's how I am with this one.
Okay.
Or with the with the support, where with the open world, where it's like I like open world.
Just do it better.
It needs to be done well.
I agree.
If it's not done well, I'm just like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I have a YouTube video open.
Yeah.
I'm on Twitter while I'm playing. Like it happens a lot. It happens enough where it's a thing for me.
Jeff, what do you think about like massively big open world games?
I love open worlds. I'm with you. I love running around, just finding every nook and cranny. Yeah. In Destiny, dude, I used to just get lost trying to jump up mountains that you're not supposed to go up on. You know?
Yeah.
Love it.
I always get worried, and I told you this was a worry for Starfield for me of how I don't need. Was it 1,000, 10,000 planets? I don't like. To me, that scares me in a way. And I know it's procedurally generated and all that, but to me, that's I don't know. It feels like it takes away a little bit. I think they showed maps of GTA 6, and it's massive, and I'm like, all right, I wonder how big like the desert area will be. And it's just
I think Rockstar does a really good job at populating its world. I wouldn't be concerned about Rockstar.
One thing about Rockstar, I know, like I've seen with like Red Dead and all that, is even though it's very big, it somehow feels you don't need to explore. It's just there, and then like you can go hunting if you want in the forest or like and
it finds you.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I think it's your turn, right? For number 2?
Yep. My next one is QuickTime events.
Oh, okay.
QuickTime events can be all right, let me just hit the button at the right time. You know what I mean? It's especially, and I think QuickTime events happen a lot in boss fights. And I think I prefer more in boss fights and less in like
cutscenes.
Less in cutscenes and less in like, oh, I have to do this thing 10 times around the city and I have to like just, I don't know. QuickTime events can be very annoying. It's just so there are certain games where QuickTime events make sense.
Yeah.
And certain games where it's just like, okay, all right, I'm hitting X and I'm beating the villain.
I can agree with you on this. I think there's definitely some repetition to QuickTime events. One of the funniest things for me was Resident Evil 5. Their cutscenes are loaded with QuickTime events. I don't know if you ever played that. No. I think it's on our list because it's a really good game for co-op, especially.
I heard Resident Evil 4, the original one, not the remake, is notorious for having.
Yeah, 4 is also very notorious. But so I'll never forget. I was playing 5 with a friend of mine, and because we were just going for all the achievements, and we had to play on the hardest difficulty, and we were at the cutscene before the last boss. And I don't even remember what he said to me, but he said something where I was like, I'm going to be an asshole because you're being an asshole to me. So I kept purposefully failing the QuickTime event during the cutscene to save his life. So he would die in the QuickTime event in the cutscene because I had to save him by pressing the trigger to shoot. But I wouldn't do it on purpose. I'd be like, oops, I missed the timing. And the first time he's like, oh, okay, whatever. And then we have to watch the whole cutscene again. And by the fourth time, he's like, "All right, I need you to fucking shoot him." And I'm like, I keep missing. I'm sorry. But no, I can agree with you. I think QuickTime events can be kind of
especially when you fail a QuickTime event and it's like, oh, you have to start everything over again. That is very annoying.
That sucks.
Unskippable cutscenes because there's a QuickTime event in it, and it's like,
Okay, yeah, I can give you that one as well. Jeff, where are you at with QuickTime events?
I'm not too opposed to them, but I only enjoy them when they're in the middle of a cutscene. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, it's a good idea to keep the player engaged during a cutscene.
I think God of War does it really well, where you fight the enemy, and then finishing off the enemy is a quick time event. I think
Yeah.
it's very aesthetic. Like they make it like pleasing, like ripping with the head or something like that. I think that's all right. But
Correct. All right, number 3 on my list. All right, so this one out of all of them is one that I have just accepted,
okay,
and it is what it is. It's part of some of my favorite franchises where it does happen.
okay,
When playing an RPG, if I go out of my way to do 2 things on my way through the main quest, if I do every side thing presented to me, and I never flee from random battles, I should never have to grind in an RPG. And that's my opinion on that. So the way I play RPGs, I do not run from battles unless like it's a life or death thing where it's like I can't fight this guy.
Mhm.
Which usually I have healing items, so I heal. And I do every single side content that a game gives me. And like when I hit a point in a game where it's like, wow, I am under leveled despite the fact that I've done everything in this game. I guess I have to grind. Like, that irks me.
I agree with that.
Like, I can understand if I was running from random encounters, or if like I skipped all the side stuff and I went right to the main fight. But it's more so a problem in Japanese developed games.
There's one game franchise that I give a pass, and I'll get to that.
Is it Pokemon?
Yeah, it's Pokemon. It's the one game franchise where it's like, all right, I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly.
In the grind.
I got all 8 badges. Well, all right, I'm gonna spend the next hour in Victory Road before I go into the Elite Four.
Yeah, that's the one game where you have to.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's like I do everything in a Pokemon game, and yet somehow I get to the Elite Four, and it's like, yeah, you're at level 40, and they're at level 65 right now. You're gonna, even with type advantage, you're gonna want to beef up a couple levels. And it's like, how did we get to this point? And like, I always start the games with the intention of like, I'm gonna grind a little bit between each gym, and then I still do that, and I still end up always level 40, level 45, gotta be 60 to 65, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck happened here?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something for me that like I love RPGs, and like it's happening in Octopath now, where it's like I've done virtually everything this game has given me. I've used the class system correctly. I'm playing the game correctly. I did all the side stuff minus like 1 or 2 little things, but it's not like a make or break for XP.
Yeah.
And like I got wrecked on the first stage of the final boss, and I'm like, oh,
One
right.
One thing that is a good feeling though is when you do all those side stuff and then you get back to the story mission and now you're
just like, yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
That's the flip side of that.
Yeah. There's been so many games where because of how many side missions they have, I just end up not beating the main story because I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna do this side mission, and after like 60 hours, I'm like, I think I'm done with this game. I did everything I wanted to. So.
Yeah. Jeff, how do you feel about grinding in RPGs?
I can't imagine anybody disagreeing with you on this.
I didn't think so, but I got to ask. No, that's something that like, God damn it! Every time it happens too, I'm just like, I'm already 35 hours in. I guess I'm just gonna do it. Like, here we go.
Like,
Again,
who in their right mind would be like, "Yay, it's time to grind"?
Some people are psychopaths. Like, there's guys out there who's like, I love grinding. It's just busy work.
I think for certain games, grinding can be fun. I get why people want to grind. I can see why people don't want to get grind. Like, I remember playing Destiny 1 and grinding, and I was like I'm having fun. But I can see why people wouldn't want to do that. Mm-hmm. Just going around shooting for endless.
It just gets monotonous.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your number 3?
I think this might be a softer one.
Okay, that's fine.
The last 2 I think are bigger ones. This one is trailing missions.
I didn't put mine in any order for what it's worth.
I didn't either. These are kind of over, but trailing missions. Trailing missions. I don't mind trailing missions, but when the character you're trailing walks slower than you, like when you're doing that thing where you're running and you have to stop.
You know, I just thought of something.
Because the walk is too slow, but the run is too fast.
I'll do you one better.
Yeah.
Escort missions.
When
their walking speed does not match your walk or run speed.
Yeah.
And you're trying to like be cinematic, so you're trying to walk side by side with them.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, now they're behind you, so you stop.
Yeah.
Let them catch up. Let them go.
Yeah.
Let them go.
Yeah. trailing and escort missions are.
Yeah, I don't have this on my list. I completely agree with you.
And it's again, this is like Ubisoft. When I think of trailing and escort missions, I think of Ubisoft. It's like,
well, you know who else does it really silly? Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto.
Well, you do the trailing missions, and it's like trail this car, and you have to stop, and there's like literally like 6 cars like length between you, but there's no cars.
Yeah.
I'm like, this AI has gotta be like,
Yo, I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you. Triple H is announcing a new championship instead of splitting the Universal Championship.
that's dumb. They're gonna have 3 belts. That's dumb.
I'm sorry, keep going.
They're gonna give it to Cody. He's a fucking geek. He's a loser. Anyways, yeah,
The World WWE.
Escort missions are worse than trailing missions because you have to follow them and you have to keep them alive.
yeah.
And a lot of times they don't even fight. So now you're like, please just stay alive, just don't die. And like, yeah,
Yeah. It's what it do.
yeah.
It's what it do.
Maybe that goes back to like companions or something. I don't know.
All right. My number 4.
Mhm.
So this one, I don't think you're going to agree with at all, and it's not going to apply to you because you don't play games this way. I am the completionist.
I knew you were gonna say that next.
I go for achievements. I play for achievements. Achievements matter to me. Trophies, achievements, whatever you call them for whatever you're playing on, they're the same thing. Just minus just how you get them or what you get for them. I hate unreasonable gaming achievements. I hate when they're luck based. I hate when they're based on time, and I hate when they're based off like online. So like,
I don't even achievement hunt, and I hate those.
so here's what I mean by that. So luck based, for example, let's say you're playing a game, you have to get a grenade kill. You have to get a quad person grenade kill 5 times in multiplayer. For a game. Like where you have to change the way you play, so you play worse. So you throw fucking grenades around. Meanwhile, you're getting sniped because you're not trying to shoot people. You're trying to throw grenades when you see a cluster of 4 people. And then you throw it at a cluster of 4 people, and one of them gets fucking sniped before the grenade goes off. So you get a triple kill. And you're like, did I get it? And you see that moment of like, wait, did it happen? And then it didn't. And you're just like...
I can see why getting it once is an achievement. Getting it 5 times can be...
But games do that. And then other ones, time, like I love Left 4 Dead, but like there was an achievement in Left 4 Dead to kill like 90,000 zombies. It's like,
Yeah.
like what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? And then online achievements. Online achievements are like the only type of online achievements that I can say like are okay are like ranking to the max level or like playing on. I wouldn't even say playing on all maps because like as games go on with rotations and voting out maps and playlists, even those are kind of unreasonable. So like this is just a complete like as a completionist thing. When I look at achievements and I see things like that, I'm usually like that blows. Or like achievements that make you like multiple playthroughs of long games where it's like it'd be one thing if you have to like Resident Evil is really good with replays because you can run through a Resident Evil game.
Mm-hmm.
Once you know a Resident Evil game, you can run through it in like 2 hours. Like your max time in a Resident Evil game is like 6 or 7. But when you're looking at I'm just looking at like the Outer Worlds. I love the Outer Worlds, but like there's achievements for beating it on each difficulty, and it's just like that is a 60-hour RPG that I'm not going to go back and play that right now on just to play on a harder difficulty.
Yeah, that's annoying. If you beat it on hard, you should get the normal and easy achievement. That's in my opinion, that should be for all games. If there's an achievement for that kind of thing, beat it on hard or the hardest difficulty, you get the achievement for all the difficulties.
What's up to the Coog in the chat coming to hang out with us? Appreciate you stopping by, man. Yeah, so that's my number 4.
Another one you just brought up is, in that same vein, people are talking about in Hogwarts Legacy, you have to play it 4 times and beat it 4 times because each house has its own achievement. It's like, all right.
Oh, what's up? TJ's here.
Hey, TJ.
All right, so TJ, we're talking about pet peeves in gaming. Let us know what some of yours are. So far, just to kind of recap what we've talked about so far, I talked about changing aesthetics and like changing armor for stat changes. I like to think that you should have it where you don't have to change the way the armor looks. Like if it looks dumb, just give me the stat boost. Like give me an option to turn on and off whether you can see the armor I equipped. Also talk about open worlds feeling too big or too empty. And grinding levels in games despite you doing everything else the game has to offer. I also don't like unreasonable gaming achievements whether they be luck-based or time-based or online-based. What were yours?
Mine was shitty companions. I like companions in video games. I just hate when the AI is really bad. That's frustrating. Quick time events is very annoying. It can be sometimes. Trailing missions, trailing and escort missions. Jerome added escort, and I agree with that. And my next one will be choosing the wrong path and not be able to backtrack.
Oh my god!
This is a really big one for me because, like I said before, when I love exploring in games, I love it.
You go down a fork in the
Yeah,
road.
there's a fork in the road. One leads,
How did I
to the
not
main
get
mission,
this?
and one leads to the treasure chest that you want to go get. And you choose the wrong one.
And you trigger a
There's a
cutscene.
cutscene, and the door closes behind you, and now that is locked from you. You cannot get that chest, and you just want to go back to your last save point, even if that save point was half an hour away. And it's just like,
I can't believe I didn't put this on my list.
that's a
list maker for me.
Yeah.
I would legit bump off the open world complaint for that. Like, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Octopath's like that a lot, but luckily you can kind of go back. But it's like, like I really don't know which one of these is the right way to go, which one isn't the right way to go. But I want to go both ways.
And this one kind of ties in with that. I knew that people were upset that Halo didn't have level. You can go back to different levels apparently.
Yeah.
And one game that made me think of that was, what's the game where you play the girl who has the mental disorder? It's the Xbox.
Probably.
Hellblade. Hellblade has those those tablets that you have to find.
Yep.
And if you miss one,
You have to go back to the whole game.
The whole game, and
Yep.
it's like, oh man.
Yep.
Yeah, that frustrates me a lot, and I think that ties in with your achievement thing probably, because like you want to get everything, you want to get that treasure chest, you want to get that.
Yep.
You want to skin that whatever.
I hate when the game makes it harder for you to like goes out of its way to inconvenience you to complete a game. I want to complete your game.
And on the other side of that, I love when the game is like, hey, if we go here, the door closes. They let you know.
Yeah, that's good. They're the real ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gears of War is really good at that. There's a door and like it takes two people to open or something, and you're gonna leave the area.
So TJ says quality of life changes. He likes them, but he will say he doesn't mind being forced to use specific armor look if he feels he adds to the game to an extent.
I agree with TJ on that. I if my character looks weird but he fits in the game, I'll wear that weird armor.
I guess I don't know. I just think like if it doesn't fit how I think the character themselves would look in the world, then that for me it bothers me.
Because I remember some of the armor you showed me that you wouldn't use that Aloy had. I was like, oh, that's really cool armor.
But I didn't like it.
Yeah, you didn't like it, so and I get it. You have your different tastes and everything.
That's what I'm saying. I just wish that they would have a thing, and I think they actually added something. I found out later in the game where it's like you could choose. But like I'm just saying, give me the choice to turn it off and on.
Jeff, what do you think about games where like it's an exploration game and you want to go explore, but you don't want to hit that trigger, that cutscene that cuts you off?
I'm not sure I've experienced that too much, but I can see how that would be very frustrating. Yeah.
That was a lot in, I think, single player narrative games, I would say.
Lance Dominguez is asking in the chat where AEW Fight Forever is. It's coming. Just you got GCW fighting it, amongst other little things. It's coming. Didn't include it in the game in the news headlines this week, but THQ Nordic said that they have a showcase in August for their games. So I think if it's not out by then, you'll probably hear something about it there, or if not, you'll probably see DLC news about it there. But that's just something to keep in mind.
TJ said that he hates having to get all the artifacts to like complete a game. I think this goes with your like achievement hunting, and I guess big open world as well.
So yeah, he says Wind Waker, we have to do this stuff. Yeah, it happens in Wind Waker. But in Wind Waker HD, it fixes that problem because it makes it better. And when we play Wind Waker, I'll tell you what the difference was. I don't want to spoil it now.
Okay.
Yeah, and Metroid Prime. Yeah, I can see that having to collect like a bunch of little artifacts. I don't mind that so much. That's just kind of how games are. It's like find the MacGuffin, find the whatever you need, and like, hey, you need these 5 things to beat the bad guy.
When I get to that point of the game, it's usually the end of the game. That's when I fast travel. I just collecting stuff at that point.
Right. Well, that's the point of fast travel.
Yeah. What's your last one?
My number 5. So, and this one, like, I feel like this is like a very like I should have ranked them because this would not be my biggest one.
Yeah, my last one isn't my biggest one. I think
I just kind of listed them. So when a game overly pads out its length, and that could be like when if you reuse areas like more than twice, or like you have like you know what I mean? Like if you're just trying to make your game hours longer for the sake of it being not like an 8-hour game or whatever, I would rather quality over quantity. I sit down, I play Gone Home, and it's like an hour long game. Maybe it goes up to 3 hours if you don't know where to go. I mean, you could beat it in 30 seconds technically, but like that's just an example where it's like give me quality over quantity. Give me like an experience that isn't going to like feel samey. I don't want to feel like I'm going down the same corridor, you know, 7 times or 8 times. I don't know. And it's not about reusing assets necessarily, but it's just like, and it's more of an issue with like indie games, I guess. I feel like indie games do it a lot because they don't have the manpower and the resources to make as many areas. But
this is one of the arguments that I give you for live service.
Mhm.
For when bad live service games do this a lot, where
yeah,
you play a mission forward and then their way to
it's like
rectify it is
do it
play it
back.
backwards.
Yeah, play it backwards.
Yeah, and it's like no, I don't. What?
Or like it's a different enemy in this area now, but it's the same exact area. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh.
bad live service games do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he says TJ said Assassin's Creed. I don't know if I
No,
put Assassin's Creed in this.
I don't think it's that. Well, so here's the thing. It depends. Which one are we talking about? The newer ones? Yes, the newer ones pad unnecessarily.
Okay, yeah.
Like Valhalla, unnecessary. Odyssey and Origin, unnecessary padding. It's so unnecessary.
Yeah, especially the difficulty.
The earlier
padding.
games, no. And like here's the thing. I'm not saying that they can't have like the same tasks like around the map, but like what I'm saying is like if you end up going to the same place and doing the same thing like more than once or more than twice, like for example, Skyward Sword, the demise fight, or not the demise fight, the imprisoned fight. You don't know what that is yet. For the people that do know what it is a not fun boss fight that the game makes you do 3 fucking times. It is like one of my least favorite things about Skyward Sword. And like it gets a little bit harder each time and a little bit different, but like why am I doing the same boss fight 3 times in like somewhat decent succession? It just things like that. Like why is this fight here other than to pad the game out? Like why are we doing this? I don't like when games do that.
Yeah, I think the Assassin's Creed, the newer games, they do that a lot with difficulty, where they make an enemy unnecessarily difficult. And I guess it's like a spend money to do this or I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, it is annoying.
So what's your number 5?
This one is I don't know if it's not necessarily a gameplay mechanic, but it is having the basic setting, having the game. So there are certain settings a game needs to have when it's out.
Sure.
And when your game doesn't have those settings, it can sometimes be very frustrating for me. Subtitles. If your game doesn't ship with subtitles in the options, that is very frustrating with me. One that really sticks out for me is I really liked Watch Dogs, and I loved Watch Dogs 2.
Mm-hmm.
Watch Dogs 2 shipped and didn't have. You couldn't change your HUD. There was no resolution. So like when I put the game in, apparently the HUD didn't fit my TV, so there were things I couldn't see. So I had to wait like a month or whatever for them to update the game just so that I can change the HUD size. And it's like there are certain settings your game should ship with. Audio settings, like just basic game settings. It's 2023. Your game should have this already. It's a no-brainer.
I agree.
And that's just frustrating.
Okay. TJ in the chat says pet peeve. A lot of people will like this, but personally, I just like backtracking. I don't want to go back to a location with new abilities. I just want to keep moving forward.
That was actually one I was going to put on my list, and then, like TJ said, I was like,
I think there are times where backtracking can be fun.
Yeah.
Again, it's really just how you do it. Like, are you going back to an area and like now you're like, look how far I've come. Like, I think that's good.
One game I really liked that does backtracking well was Darksiders.
Okay.
The first Darksiders, I don't really remember too much. Darksiders 2, I mean, I'm sure it did. But Darksiders 1, there was a lot of backtracking because it was like, oh, I can't open this door yet because I need some ability for it. And like, eventually you get it, and it's like, oh, and you go back and do it. So I guess it depends. I can see why people, like, by the end of the game, you don't want to go back to level 1 and, go through the game again. So I get it.
I dislike when you backtrack and it doesn't make you feel powerful. Like when you go back and they've raised the power level of the enemies up to you, that just feels stupid. It's like, why am I back here then? It's a sense of accomplishment when like at the very beginning of a game, you struggle against an enemy and then you come back later and you just one-shot them and you just smile. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I agree with that. One thing I like, it kind of is backtracking, but I do it a lot. I did it in, I think, almost all the Arkham games, the Batman Arkham games.
Yeah.
Is when you beat it, they have a Game Plus.
New Game Plus.
Like,
Yeah.
You keep everything that you had. So now when you restart the game, you're everything's open to you.
I'm not gonna lie. I almost never play the New
You
Game
never-
Plus unless there's like an achievement to do it.
Yeah.
I'd never do it. It would probably be so much fun to do it. But I
Arkham
just
games
never
are
do
the
it.
only games that I've done Game Plus because I just love
The Arkham
Batman.
games,
And,
yeah,
I just
yeah.
love those games so much. So
Well, I'm sorry that the next game is terrible.
yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna get to Jeff's. I had a number 6 technically. Originally, it was in my top 5, but I kind of tweaked the list because this isn't really gameplay and we kind of focus on like gameplay pet peeves here. But I put games not launching completed, whether it's lacking content, broken, lacking settings. I think that it's such a problem in games nowadays. I mean, again, right or wrong, we're seeing it with Redfall, next week, and I don't know. I think that it would be nice if games just shipped finished. That would be really nice. It'd be really, really great.
I give Redfall a pass on that personally. We talked about it last week, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't believe neither of you guys hit my one.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
It's
curious.
like the most annoying thing in gaming right now.
I do have like Rome has a bonus one. I do have a bonus. You have another bonus one too, right?
Technically, but I'm okay with just like I'm not live service models. I don't like live service models.
Yeah,
They suck.
And one that can be annoying is lockpicking / hacking / those small mini games that you have to do.
I don't mind those. I don't mind those. That's just me. It depends on how bad. Like if it's like rotate the stick, all right, it's fine.
Some of them are fine, but some of them it's like I got to do this 100 times. And it's like,
well, that's why you raise your lockpicking skill, so you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that's my last one. I didn't add it to the list because it's kind of like
your bonus
it's okay.
one. Yeah. All right, so Jeff, what do you
I'm
got?
surprised that we didn't hit Jeff's, so I want to hear it.
Battle Pass.
Yeah.
I hate battle passes more than I can put into words.
So again, I tried to keep it more gameplay, and I don't know if I considered game like I thought about that. When I say live service model, I kind of also think of battle pass. But yeah, no, I absolutely hate battle passes. They really ruin having a game be finished and launched and have all the content.
It changed like all of gaming. You know what I mean? Like every single game is like, oh, we need a battle pass now.
Yeah.
And especially the paid version. When you have the free version down below and then the paid version, so you get to see what everyone else is getting, but you don't get. I hate it.
I agree. I completely agree with that. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a very good one.
Yeah. So I needed help making this list because I didn't know we were doing this topic. So I was like looking at it and I was picking and choosing. One of them that kept coming up in every like forum or whatever that I read was tripping in Smash Brothers Brawl. It's a very specific mechanic in a very specific game, and everyone was like,
"No, people hate
tripping." And
and that's why for years people were like, "Oh, what's your favorite Smash Brothers?" And this is before Ultimate came out. I'd be like, "Oh, I love Brawl. It's the best one." People were like, "Ew, you like tripping?" I'm like, "No, I like tripping, but it's a better game than Melee."
And it is.
It's a better game than Melee.
I don't even know if I can say that because I didn't play Brawl as much as
I promise you, it's a better game than Melee. It is.
And I know there's a 1% chance of tripping, and it doesn't happen often. The storyline in Brawl is
so good.
So good, yeah.
But one of the best storylines of all
time.
But
I thought that was funny that everyone agreed.
Yeah, people hate it. People hate the tripping in Smash Brothers Brawl. It never bothered me. I was like, I mean, it happened to me once or twice, but I'm like, whatever, man. It's not game over. You lost because of it.
Reading TJ's last one is basically what we just did for the last hour. When gamers moan and complain a lot, than usual.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. I was like, I wonder if that's a slight shot at the pod right now.
I read it as like, because I've talked to him. He's a great guy. And I could just hear it in his voice, like, what I dislike. Gamers that moan and bitch and complain for 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
I agree with that. I do feel like sometimes complain.
I mean, I definitely think I'm a glass half full more so kind of guy. And again,
I would say you're more of a glass half empty. I mean, you get frustrated. You very like I don't know.
I disagree.
I don't know.
I can get frustrated.
I'm always like games are great. Games are not always great, Devroro.
Well, they're not always great, but they're usually great.
I'm like, just enjoy the game. You know?
I do.
But yeah, I mean, there are things like I get frustrated too. So
Brawl is a better game than Melee, but once you play Smash, Wii U, and Ultimate, it's impossible to go back to Brawl. I haven't played Brawl since Ultimate, so I can't. I don't know. You're probably right. Although I do want to go back and play Subspace Emissary because it's so good. Yeah, I don't think any of these things are deal breakers for me. I mean, I play games all the time with all these things in it.
None of these
So
games. Actually, maybe Battle Pass could be a deal breaker for me.
I'm just used to it because I play multiplayer games. So it's like I don't spend $1 on it, but I mean they exist. So I mean, it probably lowers my engagement overall. But no, I mean, yeah, that would be the most egregious thing that we've talked about, and I would still probably play it a little bit at least. Well, all right, that was our pet peeves in gaming, and that's just gonna about do it for us here tonight. Dev, do you have anything else you want to add? You excited for Star Wars?
Very excited for Star Wars. I gotta go. Like I said, I gotta beat that first one.
You have it, right?
I had it. I played it on Game Pass.
Yeah. Well, you can buy it for 20% off then. I'm sure you can probably get it at GameStop for like $5. Producer Jeff, you have anything else you want to add?
No, man, I'm good.
Well, that's going to do it for us here. This has been episode 23 of the Game Room Podcast. If you like the video, please like and subscribe on your way out. Thank you for everyone hanging out with us here. Thank you to TJ and Lance Dominguez, and the Coog stopped by, and the Doge was here, and Purple was here. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Devroro saying game over in the chat. I like that. You can follow us in our social medias in the description below. Devroro does not want to be followed. Do not follow him. He will call the police. He doesn't exist. He literally leaves this room. Like, we turn the cameras off and he disappears. We aren't even sure if he's real, to be honest. If you like pro wrestling, we talk about AEW on the Broken Tables podcast every single Wednesday and usually Friday nights. This Wednesday, we have a great episode of Dynamite coming up, and we will be live immediately following the show at 10 p.m. Eastern. Come hang out with us and talk pro wrestling. Until next week, we are 18 days away from Zelda. See you guys then.
Yeah.
Can't wait.